Sis, I feel like you're just wasting air by being alive. My younger sister sat on the sofa, holding a can of meat that I hadn't seen in days. My mom was peeling an apple nearby and didn't even look up when she heard that. My dad stood by the window, his back turned to me. The apocalypse had arrived, and everyone had awakened an ability. My dad had enhanced strength. My mom had enhanced speed. My sister could heal wounds. My ability? Producing 1 peanut a day. Hearing this, I took out a small cloth pouch containing food I'd saved up for nearly half a month. Dad, Mom, I have peanuts. When you're hungry, you can. Before I could finish, my little sister snatched it away, tore open the pouch, and dumped it all on the ground. Is that it? A bag of lousy peanuts, and you've been hiding them this long? Looking at the peanuts on the ground, my heart tightened. This was what I had saved up over 15 days. My father turned around and walked toward me. I thought he was here to speak up for me. Strength, speed, healing. He stepped on a few peanuts. Our family has 3 useful abilities, yet we still have to support someone useless like you, and you have the nerve to eat our food? Dad, I don't eat much. I only have a little every day. Slap. A crisp sound. I stumbled sideways against the wall, feeling the burning sting, and my eyes instantly turned red. My mother's hand, peeling an apple, paused for a moment before continuing. My father pointed at the door and said, "Get out." I covered my face, staring at him in disbelief. There was no trace of me in his eyes, truly none. That look, the one you give to trash, hurt more than any beating. Dad, I'm your daughter. Daughter? He laughed. Look at your sister. Then look at yourself. Do you deserve to be my daughter? My sister picked up an uncrushed peanut from the ground and waved it in front of me. Sis, do you know what this thing is worth in the apocalypse? Then she tossed the peanut on the ground and ground it under her shoe. It's worth nothing, just like you. It wasn't just peanuts, but also the effort I had poured in over the past 2 weeks. Meanwhile, my mom finally looked up and glanced at me. That look held no sympathy at all, but rather a hint of irritation. My dad walked over, grabbed me by the back of the neck, and with the aid of his strength ability, dragged me out like a piece of trash. Dad, I was wrong. I'll eat less from now on. Just 1 meal a day. The door opened. The cold wind poured in, carrying a stench that hit me in the face. I was pushed out, stumbled a few steps, and fell to my knees on the ground. When I turned around, it wasn't my dad standing at the door, but my younger sister. She leaned in with a smile and whispered in a voice only I could hear. Sis, you know what? That bag of peanuts. I told Mom and Dad you were secretly hoarding them instead of handing them over. I also said you ate my can of food. Upon hearing this, my eyes widened as I stared at her in disbelief. Wah, what did you say? Otherwise, how would Mom and Dad know you were hiding things? With you gone, we can save some rations. Mom and Dad said they hate people who get things without working for them. So, a useless person doesn't deserve to live. With that, she turned and left. I lunged forward, trying to grab her leg, but she kicked me away. Get lost. The door slammed shut. I knelt on the ground, trembling all over. From inside came my sister's laughter. Mom, did I act convincingly just now? My mom replied, yes, my bow is the smartest. Of course, I'm going to be the base's chief healer someday. Alright, chief. Finish your canned food first. Mom, do you think sister might die out there? Who cares about her? My dad's voice came from over by the windowsill. Through a door. I couldn't hear very clearly, but every word cut like a knife. In the distance, an animal's roar pulled me back to reality. I shuddered. Just then, the door opened again. My eyes lit up, and I abruptly lifted my head. Unexpectedly, my sister showed half her face, pretending to be curious as she looked at me. Sis, you haven't left yet. Perfect timing. Here's your treasure back. Right after that, the cloth bag I had taken out earlier was tossed out. Then the door closed. Her laughter came from inside again. Mom, I gave the trash back to her. After a long while, I lowered my head slightly, counting the crushed peanuts on the ground. I picked them up one by one. My hands were trembling violently throughout this process. Not because it was so cold, but because it was as if they had never given birth to me at all. After a long while, I clutched the bag of crushed peanuts, listening to the occasional roars of beasts in the distance, and ran off into the distance. I didn't know how long I ran or where I ended up. Dawn turned to dusk, and dusk gave way to dawn again. Somehow, I was still alive. I curled up behind a pile of rubble, my back against a half-collapsed wall. I was going to starve to death. That was the only thought in my mind. Looking down at the cloth bag in my hand, I swallowed hard. No. Once I eat it, it's gone. At that moment, my stomach let out another growl, loud as if it were shouting. I tucked the cloth bag into my arms and closed my eyes. Just hold on a little longer. I didn't know how much time passed before I drifted into an uneasy sleep. When I woke up, my stomach had stopped growling. I stood up, my legs weak and unsteady. My frail body made me stumble after just a few steps, nearly sending me sprawling on my back. The cloth bag in my arms fell out, and a few crushed peanuts rolled out. I stared at them for a long time before finally picking one up and putting it in my mouth. An indescribable bitterness. Then, a distinct surge of heat exploded from my stomach. The hunger that had persisted for days suddenly vanished. I snapped my eyes open, tears streaming down my face. I'm not useless, I said to the empty ruins. After a moment, I wiped my face and stood up. My legs were no longer weak, and my back no longer ached. Full of energy, even better than before. 3 more days passed. As soon as I opened my eyes, an ochre-colored peanut appeared in my palm, right on schedule. I put it into the cloth bag, a faint smile curling at the corners of my mouth. So none of this was an illusion. With the aid of my supernatural ability, I walked for an entire day. The sun rose, then set. I saved a person. He pulled a blue card from his pocket and handed it over. Head east. After a day's journey, you'll reach Qingshan base. Take this. No one will dare stop you. I took it and glanced at it. The number and address were printed on it, along with a line of small text. Qingshan base pass. I took a peanut out of my cloth bag and tossed it to him. With that, I walked away without looking back. My name is Zhou Heng, he said to me one last time. Lin Wan. I waved my hand without slowing my pace. The walls of Qingshan base gradually came into view. A line of about a dozen people stood scattered at the gate. I walked over and handed my pass to the guard. Lin Wan. Yeah. He looked me up and down, his gaze pausing for a moment on the cloth bag in my hand. Go on in. I walked inside. Wait. He called me back, staring at the cloth bag in my hand. What's that? I looked down. Food. Hearing this, his eyes lit up, and he waved his hand. Go on in. The base was bigger than I had imagined. There were plenty of people, but few of them still looked fully alive. As the man before had mentioned, resources were scarce here, and the base seemed to be nothing more than a name. After my eyes swept across the crowd, my body suddenly stiffened. In the corner of the square, 3 people stood under a withered tree. A man, in his 40s, still had a fairly sturdy build, but his left sleeve hung empty. He was missing an arm. The woman beside him was also around 40 years old. Between the two of them was a girl, around 16 or 17 years old. My dad, my mom, and Lin Bao. They saw me too. 3 people, 3 expressions. My mom was shocked. My dad was scrutinizing. Lin Bao laughed. You're not dead. My mom took a step forward, then suddenly frowned and looked me up and down. You. How are you? Lin Bao stood up, dusted off her pants, and tilted her head as she looked at me. Oh. Sis, you're still alive. She walked over and circled around me. And just at that moment, several broadcast announcements came through. Everyone gather at the square. Everyone gather at the square. I repeat, everyone gather at the square. The crowd began to surge toward the square. I turned and walked away. The square was packed with people. The middle-aged man on the high platform was the base manager, surnamed Shou. His face looked terrible as he raised the loudspeaker. Last night, the reconnaissance team detected a wave of zombies heading toward the base. It will arrive by tomorrow at the latest. There's a gap in the eastern wall that needs to be blocked. Who's going? No one spoke. No volunteers. Then we'll choose. His gaze swept across the crowd. Then let's start by choosing the most useless ones. As his words fell, the crowd began to stir. Why start with the useless ones? Exactly. Are those without ability supposed to die? So who do you think we should pick? Either way, it shouldn't be me. Noisy and chaotic. Voices everywhere. I stood in the middle of the crowd. My head lowered. Right after that, I heard a few people nearby muttering to themselves. Have you heard? Manager Zhou's son went out to look for supplies and hasn't come back for days. Not back. Then. It's probably not looking good, right? Who knows? Manager Zhou's temper has been awful these past few days. Yesterday, someone asked one extra question and got scolded for half an hour. Zhou, keep your voice down. Don't let him hear. Hearing this, I was slightly taken aback. Just as I was thinking about it, a voice cut through. Choose her. My father stood in the crowd, pointing his finger at me. Pick my daughter Lin Wan. She's useless. Her ability is the most worthless. Just one lousy peanut a day. What's the point of keeping her around? Lin Bao chimed in as well. Yeah, she's my sister. She should protect her younger sister. That peanut of hers really is the most useless thing. My mom stood beside them and chimed in. The three of them stood together, all looking at me. Seeing that I didn't react, Lin Bao jumped up and shouted. Sis, just go. Those lousy peanuts of yours are practically worthless. What good is one peanut? Can it hold back a zombie horde? Can it save lives? She got more and more worked up as she spoke. Healers can save people. Fast runners can escape. And strong fighters can defend the base. What about you? What's that peanut of yours good for? It isn't even enough for a single bite. You're the most useless one in the family. Keeping you alive is a waste of food. Sending you out there would at least put you to use. Wan, your sister is right. That peanut of yours really is useless. The family has raised you for so many years. And now that we need you, you can't back out. Lin Wan, you're the older sister. Protecting your younger sister is only natural. Besides, with your limited abilities, this is all you're good for. The three of them took turns condemning me. Faced with their onslaught, Manager Zhou coughed lightly, then turned to me. You're Lin Wan, right? Then you. Before he could finish, a voice came from behind the crowd. Dad, she can't go. The whole place fell silent. Everyone turned around and saw a young man limping into the square. The loudspeaker in Manager Zhou's hand nearly fell to the ground. Hang. Then, he rushed down the stage in quick strides and grabbed the young man by the shoulders. You're still alive. Where did you go? These past few days you. Dad, I'm fine. Zhou Heng patted his father's hand, then turned and found me in the crowd. When he saw it was me, he curled the corner of his mouth. It's you. Manager Zhou was stunned. You know her. Zhou Heng stood beside me. Know her. 3 days ago, I was trapped under a beam in the ruins, and she was the one who saved me. If it weren't for her, I would have died long ago. Upon hearing this, not only Manager Zhou but everyone present fell silent. Dad, do you know what those peanuts of hers are? Zhou Heng took out half a broken peanut from his pocket and held it up. She gave me 1 peanut. I ate half of it, and I haven't felt hungry for 3 days. The crowd began to murmur. You haven't gone hungry for 3 days. You're bluffing, right? Really? No way. I saw it with my own eyes. When she entered the base, the guards searched her cloth bag, and it was full of peanuts. Zhou Heng raised his hand and made a shushing gesture. That's not all. When I was pinned under the beam, I got a large gash on my leg, so deep that the bone was visible. The blood that flowed was blackish, and I thought it was infected. He paused, then rolled up his pant leg. A scar, already scabbed over, with the surrounding skin a normal color. Before I ate the peanut, the wound was still oozing pus. Within an hour of eating it, the pus stopped, and the blood turned red. I thought it was a brief rally, but over the past few days it's been growing steadily, healing faster than any wound. Seeing this, my heart skipped a beat. The swelling on my cheek from my dad's beating also gradually went down after eating peanuts. It's just that I didn't notice these small details at the time. It's only now that he mentions it that it comes back to me. I've been thinking these past few days, could her peanuts only be meant for eating? Zhou Heng's voice pulled my thoughts back. Hearing this, I was slightly taken aback. What do you mean? Someone asked. Zhou Heng turned to look at me. You've saved up so many peanuts. Have you ever thought about planting them? I opened my mouth. Planting? I had never thought about it. I've tried it. Zhou Heng seemed to have known all along that I would make that face. I saved the other half and buried it in the soil. This morning, it sprouted. As soon as these words were spoken, the crowd instantly erupted. Sprouting? Sprouting in the apocalypse? Impossible. The soil is all contaminated with viruses now. Anything planted rots. You must be lying. Seeing this, Zhou Heng raised his voice. The soil around that seedling is different from elsewhere. No stench of decay. No virus. He paused, then finished his sentence. That peanut can purify. As soon as the words fell, Manager Zhou stared at the cloth bag in my hand. His expression completely changed. It was the look of someone gazing at a treasure. I stood there, a bit stunned myself. Purify the virus? My peanut can purify the virus? I swear on my identity, I'm not deceiving anyone. After saying this, Zhou Heng looked at me with a serious expression. It was you who gave me the hope to live. My father stood in the crowd, his face ashen. Lin Bao gasped, mouth agape, unable to utter a single word. My mother's lips twitched uncontrollably. I looked down at the cloth bag in my hands. A dozen or so peanuts lay quietly inside. Warm, like a heartbeat. So, are you still planning to send me to my death? After a long moment, I let out a deep sigh and looked at Manager Zhou. Switch. The latter paused, then roared. Switch. Come on. I'll take you to see that seedling. Zhou Heng smiled at me. I nodded, just as I took a step. Sis. Lin Bao's voice came from behind. I didn't stop. Sis. You can't leave. Footsteps sounded behind me. She was chasing. Sis. I was wrong. I really was wrong. She reached out and grabbed my sleeve. Let go. I glanced at her and said calmly. Not letting go. Lin Bao circled around in front of me and dropped to her knees with a thud. Sis. I was wrong. I shouldn't have treated you like that before. Shouldn't have lied to mom and dad. Shouldn't have pushed you out. Sis. Forgive me. Just this once. Forgive me. My mom came over too. Wan. Mom was wrong. Mom shouldn't have said those things. Shouldn't have watched you get hit. Shouldn't have. She couldn't go on, covering her face and crying. She cried and cried, then suddenly reached out her hand as if to pull me. Her hand stopped halfway, because she saw the guard standing behind me. She had no choice but to withdraw her hand and wipe away her tears. Lin Wan. Dad. I'm sorry to you too. My dad never apologized to me once in his entire life. Watching the three of them like this, I suddenly found it a bit amusing. As they spoke, their eyes were all fixed on the cloth bag in my hand. To be precise, it's the peanuts inside. You knew those peanuts could be planted and purify the virus. And now you regret it. Lin Bao nodded desperately. Sis, we're family. Family. I crouched down to look her in the eye. Just now, when you sent me to my death, why didn't you say we're family? Lin Bao rushed over and hugged my leg. Sis, you can't leave. If you go, what will happen to us? We'll really die. What does it have to do with me whether you live or die? I kicked Lin Bao away with one foot, just like the day she kicked me. I've already given you what you wanted, but you didn't take it. I stood up, slowly letting out a heavy breath, and a cold wind blowing toward me spread across my face. Zhou Heng, let's go. The cries behind us were all blown away by the wind. Are you okay? After walking a distance, Zhou Heng finally spoke up to ask. It's okay. He looked worried. Then your family. Not family. I clenched my fists. He glanced at me and didn't ask further. Where are the seedlings? To the east, next to the base wall. I nodded. Zhou Heng led me to the east side of the base. At the base of the wall, there was a small patch of cleared ground. In the corner, an old iron basin was turned upside down. He crouched down and lifted it. I saw the seedling. It was as tall as a palm, with 2 tender leaves, an impossibly vivid green. Having spent so long in the apocalypse, most of the colors I've seen are gray, yellow, and black. Green, I've almost forgotten what green looks like. It's like this for 3 feet around. Zhou Heng curled his lip. I've tried it, digging the soil from here and moving it over there. But the soil over there still stinks. Only the soil around this seedling is clean. I thrust my fingers into the soil. Just as he said. Soft, warm, and without that putrid smell. You didn't know before? I shook my head. No. I never thought of planting it. At that moment, footsteps came from the distance. Manager Zhou came over with a few people, standing about 10 paces away, not daring to get too close. Is that it? Manager Zhou stared for a long time before turning to ask me. Lin Wan, how many can you plant? I opened the cloth bag and counted. 10 seeds. That's enough. Zhou Heng stood up. Dad, 1 seedling can purify and detoxify 3 feet of soil. Once these 10 seeds are planted, it won't be long before this entire piece of land becomes arable soil. Upon hearing this, Manager Zhou took a deep breath. Lin Wan, I'll give you the land. And half of what you grow goes to the base. How about that? Add 1 more condition. I have nothing to do with my family. Their lives or deaths have nothing to do with me. Deal. The moment the words left my mouth, there was movement behind me. I turned around and saw Lin Bao standing about 20 steps away, blocked by 2 guards. My mother stood behind her, and my father stood even further back. When Lin Bao saw me turn around, she started shouting again. Sis, listen to me. I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Sis, just forgive me this once. We're sisters. Flesh and blood. Didn't you dote on me the most when we were little? Wan. Your sister's right, you loved her the most when you were young. Just forgive her this time. Mom is begging you. I've never begged anyone in my life. My dad cleared his throat on the side. Lin Wan, if you still acknowledge me as your father, come back. There can't be a home without you. Upon hearing this, I walked over. Their eyes instantly lit up, thinking I was going to forgive them. Past the 2 guards, I first looked at the middle-aged man. Is it that you can't live without me? Or can't live without my peanuts? When faced with a difficult question, he fell silent again. Then came the middle-aged woman. Never begged anyone before, but isn't this begging now? Finally, it was Lin Bao. You said you were wrong. Yes, I was wrong. I was really wrong. What were you wrong about? She paused for a moment, then quickly said, I shouldn't have snatched your peanuts. Shouldn't have pushed you out. Shouldn't have. What shouldn't I? You shouldn't think I'm useless. I said for her. You shouldn't think my peanuts are worthless. You shouldn't come begging for my forgiveness only after learning that my peanuts can purify. If my peanuts were still that useless ability that could only fill the gaps between your teeth, would you have come to beg me? She fell silent. Can you do it? Sis. Answer me. A few people lowered their heads slightly, unable to utter a single word. You can't do it. You just stand in the crowd, pointing at me and saying, let her die. This time, I didn't look back. A month passed. The peanut field expanded across the entire eastern district. Every morning, I buried newly harvested peanuts in the soil. That day, a few more had just ripened. Zhou Heng was beside me, helping water them. His leg had healed, and he no longer limped when he walked. 3 more seedlings were planted today. He crouched down and touched the leaves. At this rate, the entire eastern district will be planted by next month. At the same time, I heard someone shouting in the distance. Move aside. Move aside. Several people ran over carrying a stretcher. A person lay on the stretcher, bitten on the arm, the wound blackened, and the entire arm swollen as thick as a thigh. The person was burning with fever. Delirious. Muttering unintelligibly. Manager Zhou followed behind. His face grim. Upon seeing us, he sighed and explained. Old Lu from the search team was bitten by a zombie. There's no hope. They're carrying him to the quarantine zone to wait for death. The stretcher passed in front of me. Wait. I took out the peanuts that had just ripened today. Perfect timing. Let him try my peanuts. Right. Your peanuts. Hearing this, he slapped his thigh. Quick. Quick. Let him try them. That loud voice drew quite a bit of attention from the crowd, including Lin Bao and the others. Last month, Zhou Heng said so much in the square, and everyone knew my peanuts could purify, but whether it was true or false, no one knew for sure. Today, it's the perfect chance to test it on old Lu. I crouched down, pried open old Lu's mouth, and stuffed the peanut in. The crowd fell silent, everyone staring at old Lu's face and waiting for a result. In less than half a minute, old Lu's breathing gradually steadied. The redness on his face also began to fade. 2 minutes later, old Lu opened his eyes. I'm still alive. He looked down at his arm. The black lines had already receded to his elbow, and the wound had stopped oozing black blood. Although not fully healed yet, it was clearly getting better. Does it hurt? I asked. He touched his stomach. It doesn't hurt anymore. Just a bit bloated. As soon as he finished speaking, the crowd erupted once again. It was on par with the scene at the square last month. He's recovering. Is he really recovering? Can that peanut really purify the zombie virus? Manager Zhou rushed up to old Lu, grabbed his arm, and examined it over and over again. The black lines were still receding, and at a speed visible to the naked eye. That afternoon, the 2 remaining people who had been bitten in the quarantine zone were also carried before me. I took out 2 peanuts and stuffed one into each person's mouth. Within less than 5 minutes, both of them were completely healed. One sat up and started crying. I thought I was done for. The other survivor examined the wound again and again, then looked up at me. Lin Wan, I owe you my life. From that day on, wherever I went, people greeted me. The way people looked at me was full of admiration. Lin Wan, Chief Lin. Titles like these. No one dares to call me trash anymore. Manager Zhou had designated me as one of the base's most important protected residents and assigned several guards to stay by my side. That afternoon, I passed by the corner of the square. I saw 3 people huddled under the same withered tree as before. Emaciated beyond recognition. Eyes half closed. Unsure if asleep or passed out from hunger. Sis, just give us one. Just one will do. Come on. You won't miss just one. After all, we're still family. After seeing me, Lin Bao sprang up from the ground, trying to lunge at me, but was stopped by the guards beside me. Do you know how many people out there have been bitten by zombies and still need my peanuts? I paused slightly, my gaze shifting to Manager Zhou standing not far away. Manager Zhou, why are they still here? I gestured with my chin toward the 3 of them. Now, even Manager Zhou's attitude toward me was extremely polite. You mean, that day when you selected people to block the breach, their names were on the list, right? Why weren't they sent? Manager Zhou glanced at them, then at me, and let out a sigh. There used to be. Manager Zhou fell silent for a moment. But no matter what, they are your. I no longer have any family. I cut him off. The wind blew over. A bit chilly. The moment you pushed me out the door, I was already dead. Lin Wan is no longer a member of your family. Lin Bao screamed like a chicken with its neck being squeezed. Sis, don't go. You can't just abandon us. I don't want to go to a place like that. As for the other 2, they were already so weak they were half crippled and couldn't speak. Are you okay? At some point, Zhou Heng had walked up beside me. Zhou Heng, tell me, how does a person turn their family into strangers? He was silent for a moment. Probably when they were turned into strangers by their family first. Then, he quickly explained. My dad crossed out your family's names that day because. I know. It was because of me. Are you angry? There's nothing to be angry about. I took out the cloth bag that had been with me for a long time and placed it in Zhou Heng's hand, then lightly curled the corners of my mouth. It's all in the past. People have to look forward, don't they? These are the seeds for the past few days. After taking the peanut seeds, Zhou Heng nodded and didn't ask any more questions. At that moment, someone in the distance waved at me. Lin Wan. Another person has been bitten. I shook my head helplessly. Coming. After that day, I never saw them again. Zhou Heng told me that his father had put them in the next group sent to defend the breach. I didn't ask which batch, nor did I ask where they went. Some questions, once asked, are just asking for trouble. In the days that followed, the peanut field grew larger and larger. More and more soil was purified, and people began trying to plant other things. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn, and so on. Gradually, laughter began to echo through the base, along with the sound of children running back and forth. Zhou Heng said, "The base gave this land to you, so you should charge people something for using it." I shook my head and said, "No need. If they want to pay, they can. If not, forget it." He said, "You'll end up at a disadvantage like this." Am I still afraid of being at a disadvantage now? He was stunned for a moment, then laughed along with me. In the evening, I was watering the field. Zhou Heng crouched beside me, looking like he had been holding something in for a long time. Lin Wan. The third batch is back. Hearing this, the ladle in my hand tilted slightly. How many came back? Not a single one. Zhou Heng glanced at me, then lowered his voice. Your family is also in the third batch. I see. I put down the ladle and stood up. The setting sun gilded the peanut seedlings in a sheet of gold. And when the wind blew, the leaves rustled. Don't you have anything to say? Zhou Heng was genuinely worried about me. Not many people came back from the first and second batches either. Nothing strange about it. I let out a sigh. After stretching, I dug up the ripe pods and buried the new peanuts in the soil. After a while, I asked again, what did she say in the end? Zhou Heng knew who I was asking about. I heard that she kept calling your name as she left. Until her voice went hoarse. And she still kept calling. In her whole life. The day she called out, "Sister," the most was on the road to her death. I pressed the last seed into the soil. Are you sad? I thought for a moment. Not sad. Then do you hate them? It's not worth it. What? I stood up and brushed the dirt off my knees. They're not worth my hatred. Why? Because hatred would mean I still care about them, and I don't want to anymore. Zhou Heng stood beside me, saying nothing more. I reached out my hand, my palm empty, but the warm sensation remained. It was the new peanuts growing. Lin Wan. Come quick. Someone's been bitten again. Someone shouted from afar. I'm coming. I'm coming. I turned and walked toward the direction of the voice. This time, beneath that withered tree, no one called out to me anymore.